Alignment, good posture, perfect form is something that I'm continually harping on about. And that's because when the body is in harmony and aligned around centre, the closer it comes to true balance or homeostasis. The more balanced you are, the more effortless your life is and the greater your sense of well-being. Poor posture creates imbalances and asymmetries. These in turn cause tensions and loss of available energy. It makes sense that if one part of the body is dull, unconscious and inactive, then the other parts must overwork to compensate. This is when injuries can occur. And if the body and its organ systems aren't held in the asymmetrical, balanced way they were designed to work within, then disease and chronic illness can manifest in the body and the mind. We cannot separate body and mind. They are part of the whole. To liberate the mind, it must be released from the patterns of hidden tensions which are reflected in the body. So the practice of yoga postures to bring about alignment awakens the intelligence throughout the whole body. Because the body is one whole unit, when we work one part, it impacts on the whole. Just as when one part is dysfunctional, it affects the whole organism. In today's session, we will look at some structural alignment work you can do to improve posture in order to bring about balance and harmony between left and right sides, upper and lower body, and between opposing muscle groups. So with an intention to align, let's move, motivate and meditate together so energy can flow and improved well-being can ensue. So, why have I started in bed? I can hear you asking. Well, we'll come to that a little later. We are starting by looking at the alignment of the lower body. Due to imbalance, the body can put the foot in a compromised position, and in response, the foot becomes tight, stiff and weak. Many of you have had or have foot issues. One such condition is plantar fasciitis, and there is one beloved member of this community that is dealing with this painful, debilitating condition right now. These exercises put the foot back into a normal position and restore strength and mobility. That first weight-bearing stance and walk to the bathroom upon waking of a morning can be agony. You are literally micro-tearing the long tendons at the bottom of the foot. Ouch. Some bed stretches before you even get up will help this condition, hence the bedroom scene. Let's start by throwing the legs over the bed and sit up on your sit bones, lengthening through the spine. Now, can you bend the right knee out to the side and bring the outer right ankle to the top of the left thigh by the knee? Insert the fingers one at a time between the toes. If your feet are tight, this might be difficult and even painful, so please go gently and know that as your foot opens, this will become easier. Can you bring the fingers right down to the base of the toes? Now, with the hand, start to mobilize the foot from the ankle slowly, thoroughly, circling it about 20 times clockwise, and then do the same anti-clockwise. But do remember that you are moving the foot with the hand and not initiating the movement from the ankle. After the rotation, start to point, then flex the foot, using the hand to make the movement about 20 times. And then when we've completed with one side, you're going to repeat on the opposite side with the opposite foot. we have gently activated and stretched the tissues at the bottom of the feet. Now stand up and pause to feel the feet bearing your body's weight before heading to the bathroom. Of course, this exercise can be done sitting upright on a chair at any time. And it won't just benefit those with painful feet. Everyone can benefit from these exercises because they are bringing alignment from the feet up. Remember, our feet and legs are the fundamental support for our spinal column. And if we want to have a spring in our step right into our more senior years, we need comfortable, mobile, strong feet. The next series works to relink the ankle to the knee to the hip. And we're going to start by lying down, and do have a belt or a strap at hand. And maybe you'll need a towel or a folded blanket for under your neck and head to bring alignment. So just get yourself comfortable. Start with the knees bent up, feet and legs hip width apart. I want you to relax the shoulders down and lengthen through the neck. You're going to bend the right leg at the knee and take hold of the back of the right thigh with both hands. Take the hands up towards the back of the knee. You want the right thigh vertical and the shin forming a right angle to the thigh. So you want the shin parallel to the floor. And just extend your left leg out along the mat. You want the left leg to stay active, and you don't want it to relax and roll out to the side. You want to keep the front of the leg, the kneecap and the foot pointing up to the ceiling. Don't have it rigid though. So just keep it active and see how much you can relax within the extension. Now, keeping that neck long, if you find that your limbs are short and your trunk is long, if your body shape is that configuration, you might find that you'll need a strap around the thigh and hold the strap so that you can keep the neck and head long. So you want your shoulders down, the neck long. And then from here, we're going to start by externally rotating the right foot at the ankle. And we want to move from the ankle. You're not moving from the knee. You're not moving the shin. 20 slow, deliberate rotations one way. Feeling the muscles activating. And once you've done your 20 rotations externally, you're going to come 20 times internally. And we start by going externally because most people's hips slightly turn out. But if you have internally rotated hips and your toes tend to point inwards, well, you'd go the opposite way. You'd start internally and finish externally. It's almost like a resetting. And then once we've done our internal rotations, you're going to start to point flex the toes 20 times. And you're not going to race this. As you point the toes forward, scrunch them. As you pull the toes towards you, fan them. Go slowly and deliberately, at least 20 times. Keeping the right angle, keeping the shin parallel with the floor, keeping the neck long, keeping the left leg active, toes pointing up. And then you're going to straighten that right leg or out along the floor and bend the left leg at the knee and take hold of the back of the left thigh with both hands or your belt. And again, bring the right angle, feel for the right angle, shin parallel to the floor, front of the thigh vertical. Is that right leg active? Are you reaching into the inner leg and ankle and the inner ball as much as the outer ball? Now, when you're ready, let's start the external rotations. 20 external rotations one way. keeping the neck long, keeping the breath flowing, being really easy with this. But again, we want that perfect alignment, perfect form. We're aiming to bring balance. Feel any differences between the two legs. Now do your 20 internal rotations. Was it easier on one leg than the other? Are the internal rotations easier than the external rotations? These are things that you've got to feel for. Again, don't race. If you start racing, slow down. Feel the movement, be deliberate. And then do your point flexors, heel, toe, about 20 times. And again, as you point the toes, scrunch them. As you pull the toes towards you, fan them. Stay with that. Breathe as you move. And then I want you to bend both legs at the knees, grounding with both feet on the floor. Bringing the feet parallel. This is where you'll need your belt. You're going to straighten the right leg up and hook the belt round the bottom of the ball of the foot, just at the bottom. And you're going to straighten that leg out in that diagonal line of force, bringing both thighs parallel. We're going to hold this for about a minute. So really straighten the leg, push into the heel as you pull on the belt to pull the front of the foot towards you. Keep the back of the neck long and the shoulders relaxed. We want to hold this for about a minute. And then when you're ready, bring the belt and hook it just above the heel. And again, I want you to straighten the leg out to the diagonal, keeping both thighs parallel. And then, without lifting the buttocks, keep the back of the pelvis level, keep the neck long. You're going to draw that leg up towards the vertical. Keep the leg really straight. You'll feel the stretch through the hamstrings, but by keeping the back of the pelvis grounded, we're opening through the back of the pelvis, the lower back, right into the shoulders, neck and head, connecting lower and upper bodies and feeling them as one unit. And then just lower that leg down. I want you to straighten the left leg up and hook the belt round the bottom of the ball of the foot. And again, straighten that leg out in that diagonal line of force, bringing both thighs parallel, reaching the heel away as you pull on the belt, pulling the front of the foot towards you, the top, the toes and the ball of the foot towards you. Breathing into that, keeping the neck long, the back of the shoulders grounded, being easy. Then bring that belt down towards the back, at the bottom of the heel. And I want you to, again, straighten the leg out to that diagonal line of force, drawing the belt towards you as you push the heel away. Keeping the leg really straight. Do not bend the leg at the knee. Start to draw the leg up to the vertical if it'll go. Don't be tempted to bend the leg. Keep it straight, feeling the stretch through the hamstrings, but that's not the sole purpose of this. It's to bring the stretch through the back of the pelvis, right through into the shoulders, neck and head. And then when you're ready, just bend that leg at the knee. Now we're going to just reset the body after doing asymmetrical movements on both sides. We're going to do a cat-cow curl. So come onto the hands and knees and bring the hands under the shoulders. knees under the hips. And when you're ready, as you breathe in, I want you to push the tail up, pubis back, navel and ribs down, open the chest and reach the chin forward. Before breathing out, tucking the tail, lifting the pubis, navel, ribs and chest and pulling the chin in. Keep going, breathing and rolling the spine. And again, we want to initiate the movement from the pelvis, finishing the movement with the neck and head. Breathing and rolling the spine to reset the structure of the back to a neutral line, feeling the front and the back of the spine first contracting, then stretching in opposition. From here, on the next breath in, I want you to just bring the spine back to a neutral line. And we're going to move into what we call the hero pose. We're going to bring the buttocks back towards the heels, sitting back on our heels in an upright kneel, with the spine straight and the neck and head in line with the spine. Ears over shoulders, over hips, which are in fact over the ankles. Now, if you're tight in the knees or the ankles, you'll have to adapt. You might need a roll blanket under the ankles. You may need a pillow or a bolster under the buttocks. You may need both. These are demonstrated. Keep the knees comfortable, the ankles comfortable. Don't strain joints. Know with practice, as you begin to open the front of the legs, the front of the ankle and foot, this will become easier. Just stay here and breathe, no strain. And again, you want to hold it for at least a minute. From this position, we're going to lie back on the back. And we need a chair to bring the legs over so that the back of the pelvis and the whole of the back of the body is comfortably lying on the floor with the legs supported on a chair, legs at a right angle. Feet and legs hip width apart. You want a block or a rolled towel between the legs. And you want a strap or a belt tied round the legs so that the legs are tied together as one unit with the strap, but the legs are held hip width apart by the block or the towel between the legs. And we're just going to relax the arms at the side of the trunk and just pause here to breathe. This is a really powerful, relaxing pose. This is relaxing yet aligning at the same time. It's elongating the erector spinae muscles at the back of the body. And this relaxes tension in the lower back and helps align the pelvis and the shoulder girdles with each other. So it's a very, very powerful pose on so many levels. And if you suffer with back problems, lower back problems especially, this can be incredibly therapeutic just for relaxing through the back of the body, realigning pelvis and shoulders. And we want to just lower the gaze and close the eyes and connect with the breath and the breathing, feeling the gentle expansion of the breath in, the gentle contraction of the breath out. And again, you want to hold this for 3 to 5 minutes, and you'll probably want to hold it for longer, and that's fine too. Just stay with the breath, feeling the body move in that rhythmic flow with the breath. Surrendering to gravity with each breath out, allowing the floor to completely support you. And now we're going to start to squeeze the thighs together. Again, we're going to squeeze the thighs together first, and then we're going to push the thighs wide. And this is it to enable the pelvis to balance, the muscles on the outer hips and the inner thighs to balance. So let's start by squeezing both thighs into center. Squeeze and release. You don't want to go too quickly. Squeeze and release at about that pace. And you want to do at least 20 squeezes. And as you squeeze and release, I want you to feel the two thighs. Are both firing evenly, or are you finding that one is firing but the other is recalcitrant? It doesn't want to play. As you maintain this squeeze and release, hopefully before you finish your 20 rounds, you'll find that both thighs are firing. And we're aiming to bring balance between the two inner thighs. And once we've done our 20, at least 20 squeezes inwards, we're going to do exactly the same outwards now. So push into the belt before releasing. Push, release. Push wide, then release. Keep going. Again, not being too quick with the movement. Don't race. Feel the thighs. Are they working evenly? Stay with this. Watching and feeling what's going on in the body. Does one side, is it doing all the work? Is it leading while the other side is lazy, not switched on? Can you bring balance between the two thighs? And then after about 20 pushes out to the side, we're going to move into the next series. We're going to bring the hands together and interlock the fingers. You're familiar with this. We normally do it with the knees wide, but it's great to do it in this position with the legs over the chairs. Again, to link the pelvic girdle with the shoulder girdle, and to bring balance to the upper back, neck and head. So with the elbows locked, pull the shoulders down towards the floor, keeping the arms straight. As you breathe in, pull the arms as far over towards the floor behind the head as you can. And as you breathe out, push the knuckles back to the vertical. Away you go. Remember, it's not about how far over you can come, it's about keeping perfect form, keeping the elbows locked. As soon as one elbow starts to bend, you've gone too far. You're already working in an imbalanced way. Keep going, observing and feeling on the breath, feeling the movement through the body as you move the arms. And you want to do about at least 20 of those, breathing in, arms over, breathing out, back to the vertical. And when you've done about 20, you're going to open the arms out to shoulder level. And again, just relax those shoulders down and just settle yourself into a position, a comfortable position. Now we're going to add motion and strength. And we're going to do that by moving the legs in one unit away from the chair as you breathe out. Then seeing how well you can straighten them out to the vertical on the breath in, before coming back into the right angle on the breath out and returning the legs to the chair on the breath in. Away you go. Breathing out, pull the legs away from the chair in the right angle. Breathe in, straighten the legs up to the vertical. Breathe out, come back to the right angle. Breathe in, back to the chair. Keep that movement going. This is working the iliopsoas, a deep core, back, abdominal and pelvic muscle. And it's balancing the iliopsoas, and it balances the relationship of the iliopsoas, the abdominal, the back and the side of the hips and the gluteal muscles with each other. Keep going. Breathing out, knees towards the vertical. Breathing in, straighten those legs. Breathing out, come back to the right angle. Breathing in, back to the chair. We're balancing and we're strengthening. This is quite challenging. And then on the next breath out, as you come back to the chair, just relax and pause for a moment back in that relaxed position. Again, it'll be easier to relax into the chair and the floor now as you breathe out. And just pause there for a moment to just allow the breath to settle and the body to balance. From here, we're going to move the chair to one side and we're going to release that belt and the blocks. And we're going to bring our feet either side of the mat with the toes tracking forward and the legs wide, opening the arms out to shoulder level. And we're going to do our rolling twists with the legs wide. So as you breathe out, can you bring both knees over to the right as you turn your head to look left? And as you breathe in, swing the legs all the way over to the left as you turn your head to the right. Again, don't race this movement. As you breathe, moving the knees one way as the head goes the other. And on the opposite breath, pull the knees in the opposite direction. We're increasing the mobility within the pelvis as the legs swing from side to side. As one leg internally rotates at the hip, the other externally rotates. I want you to feel this connecting with the shoulders as you work to keep the shoulders grounded. So feel it through the back of the body. Make sure you're not straining the knees. You're just keeping the feet facing forward. Don't let them turn out or pull in. You want them facing forward. And you want to bring the knees as close to the floor as you can without straining any joints. You're rocking onto the outer edge of one foot, taking that outer knee down as you come onto the inner edge of the opposite foot, bringing the inner knee down. Just breathe and rotate. And then gently come back to center. Just bend the knees up towards the chest, hold the shins, lengthen through the back of the neck, and just do a gentle rock from side to side. And then when you're ready, we're going to roll over. We can't complete this series of bringing balance into the legs and the pelvis without doing a roll, a thigh roll. So I know an awful lot of you won't have one of these rollers, but for those who have, this is a fantastic exercise. And for anybody who's got knee issues or lower back issues or foot issues, any issues really, this thigh roll can really work. We're working to release the muscles at the front of the thighs in a moment, the quadricep muscles. And this is a group of 3 long, big muscles at the front of the thighs. And when these muscles are out of balance, they pull on the pelvis and the lower back and the knees and create all sorts of tensions. So what we're going to do now is just gently roll these thighs. And if, as I said before, if you do have any lower back or knee issues, it's well worth investing in one of these rollers. even if you don't do anything else but this thigh roll. I really, really recommend it. So we want to start by pinning the thigh muscles to the bone. So lie over the roller, thighs on the roller, and bring yourself onto your elbows so that you can just start to gently roll the thighs, walking the elbows forward as you roll the roller down the thighs, walking the elbows back to the bottom of the mat as you roll the roller up, feeling those thigh muscles. And if the tissues are all congested and tight and locked together, and there's lots of congested tissue, it might feel very painful. And maybe that's all you're going to do for the first couple of times you do this, is just literally roll. But that isn't the whole exercise. That's just the start of it. Because once you've identified a sore, congested spot, there'll be lots of these tissues stuck together. We want to see if we can break those adhesions up. And the best way of doing that is to bend the legs at the knees. That might be very painful, just bending the legs at the knees. We've not finished. Now we're going to start to roll the feet and the lower legs over one way before swinging them another. You're making a windscreen wiper action from side to side, seeing how much you can roll from the outer thigh to the top of the thigh to the inner thigh on one leg and then the other. See how it feels. It might be very sore, it might be very painful, it might actually be unbearable. So don't force. You might have to start with the gentle rolls, then perhaps just bending the legs at the knees and rolling before you even begin to move. Again, we don't want to end up with the legs feeling too bruised. You might have to work up to this. But this is fantastic at breaking up those adhered tissues. All the tissues should be loose and gliding and sliding over each other. When we have imbalances, the tissues become congested and again causing knots, and those knots pull joints and bones and the skeletal structure generally out of alignment, again causing imbalances, causing injuries, causing pain. So this is just allowing the muscles and the tissues, the myofascia that wrap the tissues, to just elongate and iron out. Before we finish, we're going to just do one more stretch to bring balance to the lower leg between the front of the calf, the back of the calf and the front of the shin. So for this, we're going to stand up and we're going to have a block in front of us. And you're going to bring the hands on the hips and take the feet, just stride the feet apart, bringing the toes and the ball of the foot, of the right foot onto the block, heel down to the floor. And then we're just going to bend that right knee over towards the ankle, towards the toes. We're working on dorsiflexion of the ankle and the foot. And we're seeing, can we steer that right knee towards the toes without taking the knee beyond the toes, keeping the back heel grounded. You'll get a stretch through the calf of the back foot as well, which is nice. Just stay here, and you want to stay here for about a minute. And initially, you might not feel anything happening. But as you stay here, you might start to feel those muscles starting to activate as you move into the deeper layers of tissues within the muscles as you move through the different cells in the muscles. Stay here and breathe. Again, at least a minute. Longer is fine. And then when you've done one leg, you're going to do exactly the same with the other, bringing the left ball and toes onto the block, the left heel down, the right foot strides back. And you're going to move into that dorsiflexion, bending the left knee over towards the ankle and the 3 middle toes. Keeping the back, the right heel grounded, the back leg straight, so that you can feel the stretch to the calf of the right leg too. Again, feeling any difference between the two sides. This is fantastic for realigning the kneecap. Again, for people with knee grumbles, these last 2 exercises are just fantastic for realigning the joints by balancing up the muscle groups in the lower legs, in the upper legs, in the pelvis. And then when you're ready, just release. We've just been working from the bottom up. Now we're going to work from the top down. But I want you to know that when we're working a specific joint, and yes, all the action is in that one, perhaps joint, know that it doesn't end there, that it's sending a reaction through the rest of the skeletal structure and the soft tissues that are supporting that structure. What we're going to have a look at now is upper body alignment, but that impacts on lower body alignment. I'm asked so often, all the time in fact, about exercises to do for forward head position, for rounded shoulders. Modern living basically encourages us to round forward, hunched over a computer on our phones. A lot of our daily activities bring us into a seated position where we're rounded forward. This will help counter that. It's going to help realign the neck and stack the joints so that the low joints, which are your shoulders, hips, knees and ankles, stack vertically on top of one another and bring the organ structure within the body into its natural alignment so that you've got better bodily function. So we're going to come to the wall, and you'll need a block and maybe even a folded towel if your head's a long way forward. And we're going to stand, and as best you can, you're going to bring the heels as close to the wall as they will go. Ideally, the heels should touch, and you want the feet about hip width apart. And you want a block or a folded pillow, just fold a pillow in half, just between the thighs, and you're not squeezing the block. If anything, I want you to feel that the block is almost pushing the thighs out so that you activate when you have the block between the thighs, it just activates the hips and the pelvis. You'll feel that. And you're going to ground into both feet, making sure that the toes are tracking forward and the heels are pointing back. And you want to bring the back of the pelvis, the back of the shoulders, and the back of the neck and head to the wall. Now, some people, due to a kyphosis, rounded upper back position, will find it difficult to bring the head back to the wall, and they'll want to arc the neck back to bring the top of the head to the wall. And what I'm wanting you to do is bring where the skull meets the neck. It's called the occiput. I want you to bring the occiput back to the wall. And this is where you may just need a hand towel. It might have to be a bigger one if you're a long way forward. It might even have to be a block if you're a long way forward. But I don't want you to feel whatever you put behind your head is pushing you further forward. I want you to be able to bring the head to that position. I want you to stand firm. Heels, back of the pelvis, back of the shoulders to the wall. And I want you to just stay here in as relaxed a position as you can be. And I want you to feel that vertical stacking. Ears over shoulders, over hips, over ankles. I talk about this all the time. And I also say the best way to feel for this perfect postural alignment is to bring the body back to the wall, because you can't cheat. And I want you to just feel the impact of this movement, because what we're doing is we're gaining muscle memory. The muscles are learning how to stand straight. The body's learning what muscles need to be switched on. Feel how your chest is lifted way more than it would be if you were just standing in the middle of the room. You might have to be working the abdomen more. You don't want it, the belly needs to be soft. You don't want everything tense and tight. But I want you to feel what muscles are being switched on that you don't normally feel switched on. I want you to just stand here and breathe and know that the body is feeling what's going on, and it's feeling that good things are happening as you're standing here. Feel any differences between the two sides. Have you got even distribution of weight between left and right? Are both legs and hips switched on evenly? Or are you feeling the action more in one leg? Maybe it's because that leg is actually having to switch on now where it doesn't switch on normally. I want you to just breathe here and feel here. And the ideal is to stay here for about 3 minutes. And if you can do this several times a day, know that what you're doing is you're building a somatic intelligence in the body that doesn't just stop when you walk away from the wall. You're able to use the intelligence that and the understanding that you've built here at the wall as you move about in your day-to-day life. From here, we're going to go to the next position. We're going to squeeze the shoulder blades together, really pinch those shoulder blades together. And we're going to do some shoulder shrugs. And just as you breathe, breathe in, shrug the shoulders up to the ears, breathe out, slide them down towards the back of the waist. Just continue with that. And this is helping to improve the shoulder's hinge function. It's releasing the tissues within the shoulder structure. Just shrugging up to the ears as high as you can. Keep those shoulders contracted back. Keep them working. Keep them sliding up and down the wall. You want to do at least 10 shoulder shrugs. And then we'll go on to the next exercise, realign. I've just lengthened through the back of the neck as a result of those shoulder shrugs. Relax the shoulders down. Can you bring the arms into cactus arms? Again, this is a pose that we do all the time. And you might find that you work very differently when you're against the wall. You might find that you find it difficult to even bring the back of the elbows back to the wall, the forearms and hands back to the wall. And maybe that's what all you're going to do is just stand here, working to bring the forearms, the back of the wrists and the hands back to the wall. Now, keeping the shoulders down, keeping the shoulder blades squeezing together, what we're going to do is we're going to push the hands in a diagonal to form a V around the head. Just as you breathe in, reach up, shoulders down. Breathe out, coming back to cactus arms, elbows in line with shoulders. Now, if you're open in the shoulders, again, you won't find this too challenging. But if you really are tight, this might be incredibly challenging. So you do what you can. Again, it might just be trying to bring the arms back to the wall. Again, you're not forcing or straining. Just go gently. And then when you've done about 10, slow extensions up, slow pulls down, we're going to pause. and we're going to come away from the wall. Okay, the next pose we're going to do to enable structural alignment of the shoulders and the neck is a pose called the half dog pose, where we do basically the dog down structure that we would normally do on our hands and feet on the floor with the wall, with our hands to the wall and our feet to the ground. And this is a fantastic way to work in dog down if you have wrist, elbow or shoulder injuries and can't weight bear. I'll often say in a class situation, come to the wall if you can't weight bear. So we're going to come to the wall and we're going to bring the hands up at shoulder height, and you want the center points of the wrist in line with the outer shoulders. Don't bring the hands too close together. This won't enable you to open the shoulder girdle and the chest girdle fully. You want the hands, they can even be wider if you tighten the shoulders. They don't have to be shoulder width apart. And you want to keep the hands glued to the wall. You're keeping the hands where they are at shoulder height, and you're going to walk the feet back until the arms are straight and the legs are vertical. So you might even need somebody to spot you in this position, because what I often see is people end up in this position and sometimes even too close and in this position. So the ideal is to have the hips directly over the legs with the back of the legs vertical. So you want those legs completely vertical. You might even want to, if you can't straighten the arms, you might even want to take the arms still wider. So the aim is to push the hands, ground the hands into the wall, straightening the arms, locking out the elbows. I want the shoulders to stay moving down the waist or down the ribs to the back of the waist. And you're pushing from the hands, the grounding in the hands, into the outer hips. And you're opening your chest plate towards the wall. You're not dropping the head. The aim is to keep the neck and head in line with the spine. The crown is reaching to the wall. The tail is pushing back into the room. The feet are grounding into the floor. The sit bones are lifting up towards the ceiling. Now, if you're hyperflexible, you can end up basically overdoing the curve on the spine and thrusting the ribs forward, and that's not helping in any way. So if you are hyperflexible, be cautious that you're not just thrusting the lower ribs down to the floor. Focus on opening the armpits and the chest plate to the floor. Again, just stay here and breathe, staying with this, opening the chest, opening the armpits, pushing the hands into the wall and pushing back from the hands into the outer hips. Breathe here. This is opening a big back and shoulder muscle called the latissimus dorsi, and we are working more on the chest than the stretch in the legs or the hamstrings. You might find that if you've got shoulder injuries, you can't work with both arms to the wall. That's going to be too strong. This is where a corner wall becomes very, very useful. You can stand with one hand on the wall at one corner and the opposing hand on the wall in front. Obviously, if it's the other arm, you'd go the other way. So you'd come that way. So it depends on which arm. Your injured arm might have to be out to the side. And you would stay with that shoulder stretch again for about at least a minute, maybe even up to 2 minutes. For our next shoulder realigner and strengthener, we want to find either a corner wall or the edge of a door. I'm going to use my favourite spot, which is this corner of this drain pipe, to align my spine up with. So again, position yourself with something. You can just have a door mat, perhaps wedge it with something and use the edge of a door or a door frame. What I want you to look at first before we position ourselves against the edge of the door is the hand position, which is really important for this. We're going to curl the fingers in so that the fingertips come to the finger. So you're not making a fist, you're curling the fingers in and you're extending the knuckles forward. And you're going to pull the thumb out to the side and pull it back towards the center line. And we want to do that with both hands. This is called the golfer's grip. So we want that firm grip. And then you're going to line up your spine with the edge of that wall, drain pipe if you've got one that's square like mine, or door. And again, we're going to feel for that perfect postural alignment. Make sure your ears are floating over the shoulders over the hips over the ankles, and the door will really help you get that alignment. So bring the heels back if you can, without feeling that you're going to fall forward. So with that alignment, again, just keep, if you tighten the shoulders for the next one, you might find that your spine will compensate, your lower back and will compensate for tightness in the upper back. So again, you might find that your pelvis wants to drift forward. So this is really important. Keep the back of the pelvis to that surface. I want you to do the arm position now, taking the arms out to shoulder level, moving the shoulders down, so you're really engaging those shoulders. And as you reach into the knuckles and the fingers, I want you to feel all the muscles switch on from the tip of one hand right through that line of force to the other hand. We're recruiting all those muscles. Now we're going to start doing circles, just small circles. We want to do about 40 in the direction of the thumb. So if the thumb's pointing forward and your arms are in internal rotation, we're circling forward. So as you're circling, if you find that you start to see your arms with your peripheral vision, you're taking them forward. I want you to keep them back in line with the shoulders. You might just, I can see my thumbs going and moving, but you don't want to see the rest of your arm coming. Stay with that, and you want to do about 40 circles in. And then we're going to externally rotate the arms. Keep that push into the knuckles, bringing a line of force through the hand, through the wrist, through into the shoulders and chest, pointing the thumbs back now, palms up. And we're going to do that circling back. This is a fantastic pose for recruiting all those muscles along that line of force through the arms and the chest. It's boosting the circulation to the arms and the shoulders, the upper back, chest and neck. Try and keep the neck as relaxed as it can be, the jaw relaxed. It's bringing oxygen-rich blood. And it's a very, very quick way of building upper body strength. And remember, for a joint to be healthy, it needs to be strong as well as mobile. Okay, we're going to leave that exercise there. Just do some shoulder rolls to release any tension that might have crept in. And again, you might want to flail the arms, moving away from your surface so that you don't smack the hand. And just drop any tension through the fingers and the arms. But we haven't finished. We've just done a really powerful strengthening aligner. Now we're just going to do a mobilizer for the shoulders. And we're going to find the wall again, or the edge, the corner. I do this with a corner. You can work with the wall. You can even do these. You can do these in the middle of the room. But you, as I've said, you're not necessarily going to have that perfect vertical stacking. You will compensate for tightness in the shoulders with the lower back. So to avoid that, I'm going to do the next exercise again with my spine aligned up with the corner. You can do it with the wall. It's very hard. You'll find that it's much harder to do these with the spine aligned than it is to do them independently in the middle of the room. And we're going to come into the same hand position, exactly the same hand position again, with a line of force from the knuckle through to the, well, it's going to be the elbow. Thumbs pointing down, and we're not bending the wrists and doing this for the next So we're not doing this, we're keeping that line of force. Elbows out to the side, shoulders down. And all we're going to do is bring the elbows towards our center line and then take them back to the wall. In, back, in, back. And you might find again, if you tighten the shoulders, you're not going to come very far in at all. That's fine. And I have people who are really tight in the shoulders that say, it's doing nothing. It is doing something. Work with what you've got. I want you to come to your center line as best you can, taking the arms back. This is working on protraction and retraction of the shoulder blades, mobilizing the shoulder joint, which helps align the head over the shoulders and the shoulders over the pelvis. This is quite tough with the wall. And you want to do about 10, maybe 20 if you're coping. And then we're just going to leave that there. Again, do some shoulder rolls, back and forth, let the arms flail. You might not be doing all of these exercises at once, and that's fine. But these are exercises that you can do during the course of your day. While you're waiting for the kettle to boil in the kitchen, do some arm circles or elbow curls. You don't have to do the whole session from start to finish. Pick a mix, but can you have a commitment to do at least 1 or 2 of these shoulder alignments once or twice a day? Believe me, they work and they will make a difference. They will ease neck and shoulder tension, and they will improve posture, which will have an absolutely amazing impact on your overall health and well-being. We're going to revisit the Chinese arm swings that I introduced in the second video, No Excuses. And it fits very nicely with this shoulder mobilization and aligner that we've just been doing. It's one of its many benefits, which we did discuss in the second video, is that it mobilizes the shoulders and it releases a lot of those stuck, adhesed tissues as you repeatedly swing the arms. Again, there should be no forcing with the swinging. So that's fantastic for just loosening and releasing some of the stuckedness within the shoulder joint. So we're going to take it to the next level. We're going to actually just bring in a very simple breathing exercise. So before we start, again, it's really important that you look at your postural alignment, and we want that perfect postural alignment with the body stacked on top of the ankles, ears floating over shoulders, shoulders over hips, hips over ankles. The legs shouldn't be rigid, the body shouldn't be rigid for this. We want those knees slightly flexed, only sort of micro flex, so that the legs are soft but active. And then we're just going to relax the arms to the side. We're going to again gaze ahead with those soft eyes as we fix our focus. And then we're going to start to swing, bringing the arms up and then letting them drop back. So just find that rhythm, your own rhythm. Don't need to follow mine. It might be slower or faster than mine. Finding that nice, gentle rhythm. And then we're going to introduce the breathing. And what happens, keep going with your arm swings. As you reach the arms up, you're going to breathe in. And as you drop the arms back, you're going to breathe out. That's it. It's in and out through the nose. In, out, in, out. I'm just going to demonstrate that as you continue to swing. And when you've done that for about a minute, we're going to just resume just a normal breathing flow, and we're going to alternate the arms, just letting your yourself settle, your breathing settle, because it's actually quite profound, this breathing technique with the arm swings. And if you find that you do get lightheaded or dizzy, you must stop. You must stop and just move around and get on with your day. You can come back to it. And when we've done about a minute of the alternating the arms, we're going to come back to both arms together. And that breathing technique, if you're comfortable with it, in, out, in, out, in, out. Stay with it, feeling the alignment of the body, feeling the ground below the feet, feeling the breath at your center. Make sure you're comfortable and easy with it. Feel the movement throughout the whole body as a result of the swinging arms. Feel it moving through the body, loosening, opening, releasing. And then after about another minute of this, we're going to just breathe normally again. We're just allowing the breath to settle as we alternate for the third minute. So we start with the breathing exercise with both arms. We come back to the alternation and relaxing the breathing. Then we do another minute. The third minute is both arms swinging. And then we come back to the arms alternating for another minute to just settle the breathing. And then after a minute, another minute of this, we're going to go to both arms together again. And again, seeing if we can breathe in, breathe out, through the nose, being easy, being comfortable, feeling the alignment of the body, the grounding in the feet, the breath at the center. We talked about the healing capacity of this for the lungs, for those who've got lung conditions, asthma, who've had lung disease such as bronchitis and pneumonia. It's very, very powerful for breaking up adhered tissue, adhesions in the lungs. And then just let the arms settle. And before we finish this video, we're going to just lie down and relax over a rolled blanket to open the chest. And in that relaxed, open-chested, open pelvic position, we're going to do some breath work. So can you bring a blanket or a thick beach towel or bath towel, and from this folded position, we're going to roll it into a fairly tight sausage, a long, tight, thin sausage. And you're going to bring that and center it on the length of the mat behind you. We're going to turn round. Now, the positioning of this sausage, some people like it right into the back of the pelvis. You're not sitting on the roll, but some people like it right into the back of the pelvis as they roll back and lengthen and line up the length of the spine with the roll. I actually find it far more comfortable to just have the roll under the upper waist and the chest. So again, you need to find a position that's comfortable. It might take a little time to settle in, but you are rolling the length of the spine along the roll, and make sure you're not lolling to one side or the other. We want to be symmetrical with even distribution of weight through our pelvis. Maybe you've got a bolster, you can roll another towel up. This was demonstrated in last videos, but maybe you've got a bolster that you can bring the legs over, bringing the soles of the feet together so that the legs are completely supported in this position. If you haven't got a bolster, most people have got pillows or cushions that you can use to support the legs in this extended position. Make sure you've got enough support to make sure the legs are comfortable. I'm going to use the bolster because I've got one, but you'll have something in the house that you can use. Now, the other thing that I want to say is that some people's chin will end up poking up to the ceiling, and this is not comfortable. We want to lengthen through the back of the neck. So you might find that you're going to need a folded blanket or towel or cushion just under the head, but you don't want the head lifted too high up. You want to be able to just lengthen the neck and head in line with the spine. Be able to move the shoulders down. So again, just find a position that will allow you to get comfortable. So once you've settled yourself into a comfortable, open-chested position, and it really does pay dividends to take some time to make sure you are comfortable and balanced so you can relax. You can only relax and fully open if you're completely comfortable. So in that comfortable position, we're going to deepen and open the chest more by moving the arms. And as we start to move the arms, I want you to feel the impact of the arm movements, not just on the arms and the shoulders, but on the upper back, neck and head, but also within the chest cavity. So as you breathe in, circle the arms out to the side and up, keeping those arms as close to the floor as your shoulders are comfortable doing so. And on the breath out, circle the arms out to the side and down, angel wings. Breathing in, out to the side and up. Breathing out to the side and down. Don't force those shoulders. Last time, breathing in, out to the side and up. And this time as you breathe out, just lower the arms down to shoulder level. And on the breath in, bend those arms at the elbows if your shoulders are comfortable to do so. Bringing that right arm at right angle, through the forearms and the upper arms. Keep the shoulders relaxing down and the arms moving towards the floor, but do know that you're raised on a surface, so they might not touch. On the breath out, we're going to move those right angle arms up to form a diamond shape, bringing the fingers above the head to touch. And on the breath in, open the elbows back to shoulder level. And on the next breath out, bring the forearms, elbows and palms to touch at center. Once more, breathing in, open the arms out to the side. Breathing out, fingers to touch above the head, diamond arms. Breathing in, back into cactus arms. Breathing out, move the elbows, forearms and palms to center. Just pause here, interlock the fingers and push the out-turned palms. You're turning the palms out up towards the ceiling. And on the breath in, pull the arms as far over as you can. And on the breath out, push the out-turned palms all the way down, bringing the thumbs to the pubis. 3 big breaths in and out. Breathing in, move the fingers along your center line all the way over towards the floor behind the head. Breathing out, bringing the thumbs back towards the pubis. Away you go. Keep the shoulders relaxed, the neck long. Breathing in, up and over. Breathing out, forward and down. Big breath in and out through the nose. Breathing in, all the way up and over. Breathing out, all the way back and down. I want you to release the hands at the end of the breath out, and on the breath in, can you circle those arms out to the side and up? And on the breath out, lower the arms out to the side and down. Angel wings again. Breathing in, out to the side and up. Breathing out to the side and down. Last time. Breathing in, out to the side and up, and this time as we breathe out, move the arms down to shoulder level. Breathe in, bend the arms at the elbows, bringing the forearms and the back of the palms towards the floor without strain. Breathing out, move the arms up above the head so that the fingers touch and you form those diamond arms. Breathing in, move back into cactus arms, elbows towards shoulder level. Breathing out, elbows, forearms, palms towards center. Breathing in, open the arms wide. Breathing out, keeping the arms back towards the floor, slide them up to form diamond arms. Breathing in, can you bring the elbows down? Breathing out, elbows, forearms, palms to center. We're going to pause here. Can you interlock the fingers, bringing the less dominant forefinger to the front of the pile? You will have automatically just brought your dominant forefinger last time. This will feel strange, just go with it. I want you to turn the palms out, extend the arms, and as you breathe in, can you reach the arms all the way over towards the floor behind you? No shoulder strain. Breathing out, push the out-turned palms all the way forward and down. 3 more deep breaths in and out, pumping the chest. Away you go. Feel that you're moving the fingers along your center line. Feel the impact of the movement on the breath, on the chest. And on the 3rd breath out, just release the hands. Bring the arms to the side of the body. And you can stay in this position and just relax here. Can you stay here for a couple of minutes, allowing yourself to melt into the surfaces that are supporting you with each breath out? And to do that, you've got to surrender to gravity and give yourself to the earth. Feel the opening you've got through the front body. And again, look at how that makes you feel. Do you feel liberated, open and free? Or does it make you feel slightly vulnerable and ill at ease? Again, there's no right or wrong way to feel. Just stay here, breathing, relaxing, allowing your body to open, feeling if there's resistance and breathing towards any resistance that you become aware of. If you have joint issues, and let's face it, most of us do, or if you want to maintain that healthy, balanced alignment, make a commitment to do some of these exercises daily. Just try. They make a difference and can iron out chronic tensions and make you free up your energy and improve overall physical and mental well-being. Namaste, dear ones. Sending so much love, and remember, until the next viral video, 2 stretches every waking hour.